Today we're going to do my 6-month review of the Kase Revolution Magnetic Filters. So I've had the Kase Revolution Magnetic Filters now for a little over 6 months, and I've been using them all during that time. Back in April, I did an unboxing review of the Kase Revolution filters, and if you're looking for the specific details of what's in the kit, any kind of specs, any kind of thing like that, please go check out that unboxing video. That's where a lot of the more technical specs of the filters, and if you want to see exactly what's in the kit, go check that out. Link in the description below. Today I'm going to focus more on my thoughts after using them for 6 months, what I like about them, if there's anything that I wish could be improved, things like that. So that's what this video is going to be all about. This is going to be much more of an in-the-field review about just the filters in general, and I'll demonstrate using them and stacking them and sort of talk through that. So let's get on down the trail here. I've got a waterfall all picked out. I always feel like filters go good with waterfalls. It's easy to demonstrate everything that they can do. So let's talk about that waterfall in just a few. Let me get a little further down the trail. Okay, we're almost to the falls, and ironically enough, I actually did my Kase Wolverine in the field video from the same location. This is Douglas Falls in West Virginia. I love this little spot. It's pretty awesome, and really, all the waterfalls in Ohio right now are all dried up. And since I feel like a filter video should take place near a waterfall, I really didn't have a chance to record it. But I'm out here on my fall trip to West Virginia, and I figured, you know, I have any number of falls I could do this video at. But I like Douglas Falls, and it's where I did my Kase Wolverine video at, so that seems fitting. We'll do it here. So I just have to get down to the creek bed, down through here, and we're going to get set up. And like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about my thoughts on the Kase Revolution Magnetic Filters. I am going to do some demonstrations of just using the CPL, stacking with an ND filter. Just talk to that real quick. Like I said, I've talked about that in a lot of other videos dedicated to ND filters, even the Kase Wolverine video, but we'll go through that in case you're new to filters, Kase Revolution filters, and again, what my thoughts are after having used them for 6 months, and we'll go from there. See you at the bottom. So I made it down here to Douglas Falls, which is right there, obviously, in the background. I got my camera set up because we're going to do a couple little quick demos of the CPL filter, the ND filter, and go from there. Just a really cool falls, lots of compositions, and a very immersive experience because it's down here in this little canyon, lots of noise, and you really sort of lose yourself to everything else. So with that said, this video is more about my thoughts on the Kase Revolution filters, less on tech specs. If you want to see the technical specs, I covered that in my Kase Revolution filter unboxing video back in April, which I'll link to in the description below, as I noted. So, but with that said, it does come with this handy dandy little pouch, and it can hold your filters in there nice and padded, and I've got my filters in there right there, and like I mentioned there, it's got this clip which is super handy to clipping on my pants so that my filters are right close, real handy. Coupled with, if you have a tripod that has a little hook, a little hanging hook for the weight to help give it an extra stability, you can always clip it there as well. Keep the filters nice, handy, right at your fingertips. So in addition to being magnetic, it makes them super easy to have them right there. So what I want to do here is we're going to set this shot up, Nikon Z7 II, Nikon 24 to 120 lens, and we're going to start with CPL. Anyone who's watched my videos know I'm sort of a CPL addict, a polarizing filter addict, especially for waterfalls. It really helps cut through that glare on the rocks, which is what a polarizing filter does. Helps cut through that glare, give a little bit more detail behind the rock. Slows the shutter speed down like a half stop, one stop, just to let you get that slightly slower shutter speed to get that right look for the water. So we're going to play with the CPL filter. I'm going to show you how easy it is to put on, take off, show you a little bit of difference of it with it off, with it on. Then we'll stack it with an ND filter. ND filters are like sunglasses for your camera. So when it's bright out, it reduces the amount of light getting in the camera so we can slow our shutter speed even more. Now it's a little dark out, overcast today, so there's not a whole lot of bright light. Don't really know if I'll need an ND filter today with as fast as the falls is going. and the lower light condition anyways, but we're gonna put it on, show you how you can stack it, everything like that. We'll touch on the vignetting. That's one of my most frequently asked questions from either any of the Kase Revolution unboxing video I did or my shorts I did. We'll talk about the vignetting aspect, which everyone wants to know, as well as the new Inlaid ring, which is one of the things I was excited about this. So anyways, enough of me rambling. Let's hop in here. I'm gonna do a quick demo of a CPL filter, ND filter, just sort of zip through that. I'll link to other videos where I talk about ND filters and CPLs. If you're new to them and wanting to learn how to use them, I've got other videos to help you with that. But let's get this set up, and then we'll get into the review. Okay, so I've got my shot composed here. I don't have any filters on here yet. I'm going to take this shot real quick just so that I have something to put in the video to sort of show you the non-CPL effect. Like I said, I'm shooting a Nikon Z7 II, Nikon 24-120 lens, no filter yet. Just get my focus point out there midway. 1/8 of a second shutter speed, f11, ISO 200 at the moment. Just take a look at that. I want a little bit more blur in that water after looking at that photo, so I'm going to lower my ISO down to 64, base ISO for the Nikon Z7 II. Watch my histogram. Take my shot. Like I said, I'm just trying to gauge my exposure at the moment without any filters. Okay, that's getting in there pretty good. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna toss a CPL on. So to attach a magnetic filter to your lens, you need a adapter to do so. What I typically do and what I recommend is buying for your largest size lens, and it's gonna use either the magnetic adapter or Kase Revolution's new Inlaid adapter. The Inlaid adapter actually screws into the filter threads and helps keep things from getting too deep, which should help reduce vignetting if you start to put filters on, stack filters and things like that. So pretty cool innovation and one of the features of Kase Revolution filters. If you're shooting on a lens like, for example, right now I'm in this 24-120, which is not the magnetic adapter size I have to use a step-up ring. So the step-up ring in this case takes it from a 77mm filter thread to an 82mm filter size. That way you only have to buy the filters for once, and then you can use step-up rings to adapt your lenses to the larger filter size to get your pictures. So I am using a step-up ring on this particular one. We'll show off the Inlaid ring in a little bit. We're going to start with the CPL. This is one of my most often used filters. I want you to watch this. Here it is. That's it. My filter's on. Because it's magnetic and not threaded, it is able to reduce its depth because all it does is rotate in that magnetic adapter, that step-up ring. So we're going to take a look. I used behind the scenes, and the way you get a polarizing filter to work is you rotate it. So we just rotate it. And what I'm watching for is what happens to the glare in the water. Now there's varying degrees of filtering. You can be fully polarized, remove a lot. Some people don't like that look. They think it looks over polarized, overly filtered. And then so you can just back off of it just a little bit to give you a slightly less polarized look. Now, like I said, when you're using a polarizing filter, it does change the amount of light getting in your camera. So I do need to make a couple of shutter speed adjustments, slow the shutter down a little bit more, which for waterfall photography is often good. The other benefit of a polarizing filter is right now I've got these changing colors. We're out here in the autumn, got these changing leaves. They can help with the fall photography because it also sort of helps cut through that glare in the leaves, giving the leaves a little more saturated look, makes those colors pop just a little bit more. So I got that all set up, take my picture. We're gonna check my exposure, check if I like the blur of the water or not. I want a teeny bit more blur in the water, so I'm actually gonna increase my aperture up a touch. I'm gonna go to f14, which lets me slow my shutter speed down just a little bit more. Focus in, take a shot, take a look back in the camera, and that looks pretty good. So as you can see, now I say I don't want my filter, pop it right off of there, and it's done. No threading, anything like that. Now, not only is it fast to change, if you've used threaded filters in the past, you know that sometimes they get stuck. So it just makes filter changes painful. They'll get stuck, you have to maybe carry filter wrenches, or it makes you just not want to switch filters as often. I can easily go switch lenses, switch my filters around, not worry about things getting stuck. Just magnetic filters are just really the way to go. Now, one thing you may notice, color coding. That's the other thing. Not only did they add the Inlaid adapter ring, which we'll show in a little bit, color coded the filters. That is silver. So I can easily look either inside my pouch and grab the right filter once I've memorized the colors. I know that silver is my CPL. Or if what I do all the time, accidentally leave a filter on a lens, switch lenses, and then wonder, where's my CPL? I can easily look in my camera bag and see which lens still has it on. Again, between magnetic filters being so efficient with changing, the color coding just brings the next level, being able to easily find your filters, move them, change them. Things get hurried in the field. Sometimes you put a filter in the wrong section of the pouch, so this just makes it super easy. So the color coding is great. Okay, not only is it easy to put a filter on, change a filter, they make them easy to stack too. So let's take a look at ND filters. Like I said, it's not super bright out today, so I'm not 100% sure I really need one. It could do some cool stuff later on for some of this water in the foreground to help slow it down. Okay, so let's talk color coding again. Like I said, in here we've got my blue for my ND8, which is a 3-stop filter. We've got yellow for my ND64, which is a 6-stop filter, and an ND1000, which is a 10-stop filter. That color coding makes it super easy to grab the right filter that you want. So let's grab the ND8, which is equivalent to a 3-stop. So I'm going to reduce the amount of light getting my camera by 3 stops. I've got threaded filters. You have to get on here and thread and screw. Well, that's this filter. That's it. That's all it is. Now behind the camera, that has reduced my exposure significantly. So we're going to have to slow my shutter speed down, which is good. That's what we're trying to do. Reduce the light so I can slow my shutter speed down so that I can get even more of a smooth look in the water. That's going to be 3 stops. Change that. We're going to get my focus point back in there. So that changed it into a 6-second exposure. This should be nice and smooth. We'll take a look back at the camera. Yes, it is. What it's really giving me is giving me this really cool swirl in front of the camera here, which is pretty sweet. Actually, because of that, I actually do like this ND filter on this. Probably a touch overexposed, meaning I might want to bump this up. So let's just demonstrate that real quick. Meaning that I wanted a little bit more of a swirl now that I see I've got that. So let's put the ND64 on. So let's change filters real fast. You pop the ND8 off, slip it in, grab my yellow ND64, toss it on, just like that. Slow my shutter speed down even more. So that got me all the way to a 30-second exposure. So I have it stacked with my CPL. I had my polarization set, took the ND8 off, put the ND64 on, got to a 30-second exposure. And what I'm hoping for is a nice little swirl here in this foreground here. The falls water I was able to do pretty much with the CPL, but getting this extra swirl effect in the front is what we're going for. Let's see what happens. So yeah, we should got some more swirl effect in there. It was pretty cool. Probably need to play with it just a little bit more. But the point here was I can easily switch filters, just try things, experiment with things. Not a lot of threading, no risk of things getting stuck. So the magnetic filters is super cool. So that's pro number 1. Pro number 2, color coded, makes it super easy to find the right filter, make it easy to see. Did I leave it on a different lens? Which one isn't in the pouch? Was on a rush? Put them away in the wrong order? You don't have to worry about that. Just memorize the colors and you're good. Like I said, we have 4 filters in the Kase Revolution Pro kit. Have the CPL filter, circular polarizer, my most used one. We have an ND8 filter, equivalent to a 3-stop, ND64 filter, equivalent to a 6-stop, and an ND1000 filter, equivalent to a 10-stop. So got all the bases covered, makes it super easy to use and do that. So let me, I want to show you the inlaid ring real quick. Let me grab that, clamber down. Actually, I'm going to show you the inlaid ring back here. It's a bit of a clamber to get to where I'm at, and I'll show you the inlaid ring back there, and then we'll sort of recap on what's so awesome about these filters. Okay, we're going to do a quick switch over to my wide-angle lens so we can talk a little bit about that inlaid adapter and some of the advantages it brings. So let's get that set up on here real quick. We're going to pop the 24 to 120 Nikon off of here, get my lenses prepped. I like to do fast lens changes whenever possible. I'm going to switch that. Camera body facing down. Okay, got the wide angle on here. I guess we could probably record this part right here. I was going to move off this way, but yeah, we'll talk about it right here. Let me get this lens stowed away. I try to be semi-neat and organized out here. Rarely works, but at least pretend to be on video, right? Close the bag up. Okay, so like I said, you do need an adapter ring. The magnetic filters have to have something to attach to. So it does take a magnetic adapter. It used to be they had a magnetic adapter that would screw in, but it added depth to the end of the lens. And as you start to stack and add depth, it can potentially cause vignetting, which is one of the most frequently asked questions about stacking lenses and magnetic filters and which size should I get. With the Kase Revolutions, Kase came up with a really cool inlaid adapter ring. And I've talked about this in other videos and showed it in the unboxing. So to see a closer look at it, go ahead and look at that unboxing video. But as you can see right here, this ring screws into the filter threads, shrinking that depth, and allows magnetic, like the lens cap, comes with the Pro kit. This is snap on there, and it's not adding that depth. So that's how that adapter ring works for the filter size to your biggest thread. Let me see, how can I explain this a little better? I use 82mm Kase Revolution filters, which happen to be the largest filter size any of my lenses take. That happens to be the 14 to 30. So this 14 to 30 has 82mm filter thread. So use that adapter ring, it screws into those threads, makes it magnetic to allow me to easily swap those filters, lens caps, and everything like that. My other lenses, like a 77mm, a 67mm, I need to adapt. adapt. And there it's a step-up ring that screws into the threads and then adapts it to use the larger 82 millimeters. So when using Kase filters, you need that magnetic piece and you need adapters to get your other lenses to use that larger filter size. Like I said, I go into it in some of my other videos, but that's a real quick high level of what it is. But that inlaid filter ring is super cool from Kase and does help reduce vignetting. We'll touch on that in just a second. I think I've demonstrated everything I wanted to show. Showed you the CPL, showed you the ND, talked a little bit about the inlaid filter ring. Let's just move downstream just a little bit, just get a little bit further away from the roar of everything. And we'll talk about the major benefits of magnetic filters. Trying to think of what I don't like. So yeah, so let's move further downstream. So we'll wrap this video up, talk about my thoughts, what I think about these filters after using them for a little over 6 months, and we'll close this thing out. Okay, so let's talk a little more in general about some of the big things I think the Kase Revolution magnetic filters bring to the table. One, they're magnetic. Anyone that's followed my videos knows I've been shooting magnetic filters for quite some time. I used the Kase Wolverine filters prior to this. Love them. I have multiple videos on the Wolverine filters, also linked down below if you're just trying to gather information about magnetic filters in general and see if they're right for you. But as I demonstrated up there, they are super fast, efficient, so easy to change, try different things. It lets you be more creative in the field because of how efficient you can be and how quickly you can change filters. It also makes it easier because the filters don't get stuck. I can't tell you how many times my threaded filters used to get stuck. There's always a pain. I had to find my filter wrenches, dig them out, and instead of like catching the great light that was happening, I'm trying to get my filters unstuck. So magnetic filters in general are just amazing. Kase does a great job with them, high quality, the whole bit. So magnetic filters, the efficiency, not getting things stuck, super cool and really high value. Of course, the Kase Revolution filters bring that to the table. Let's talk a little bit about magnet strength. There's been videos on the internet about Kase losing their magnetic strength and things like that. I'm sorry, I just haven't seen it. Now, a lot of my filters are newer, but my Wolverines still do good. I actually loan them out to people on workshops, and they work just fine. So they still see use because I tend to let people trial them out on a workshop. So they still get use. I've even used them on mine when I'm in a hurry and just grab the wrong filter kit or something like that. So my Kase Wolverines are still strong magnetically. Really don't have a huge problem with them. Kase Revolution seem just a touch stronger. The lens cap that fits, it is a Kase Revolution lens cap that fits with the adapter. It's on there pretty good. You have to give it a pretty good tug to get it off of there. This thing's really not falling off. Now, if you start to stack filters and then put the lens cap on, you do lose some of the magnetism to it, but that's just, you know, I don't really carry my lenses around in the bag with filters stacked. A lot of times I forget to take a CPL off, but either way, the magnet strength seems good. It's a frequently asked question. No, I haven't done any measurements with it or anything like that, but I feel like Kase must have changed something in the magnet strength with the Wolverine line midway through their productions. And like I said, the Revolutions have been just fine. You know, do I occasionally knock one off in my bag? Yes. If I have my bag pretty tightly set, I have my dividers nice and tight. Sometimes I'm pulling a lens out, it'll pop off. But as far as when I'm out in the field photographing up on a tripod, I do the thing some people recommend not doing of don't carry your lens or the filter through the field. I do that. I just haven't had a problem. The magnetic strength is good. So I feel like Kase Revolution has it handled. So I don't worry too much about that. Color-coded filters, I love them. Just take a look at that, Anna. Look in that pouch and look at that. Super easy. And see, this is what I'm talking about. I know people say, oh, I've got a system. I just always put this filter in this pouch, so I always know which one it is, even without color coding. Look at that. I'm a system guy. I always have systems, processes, and everything. When you get in a hurry and you're moving quick, you mess it up. For example, I misordered my ND filters, but it's not a big deal. Normally I have CPL, my ND8, ND64. I screwed it up. My ND64 there, ND8 there. Color coding makes it super easy to tell. I'm not grabbing the wrong filter and putting it on. So color coding, huge, both for efficiency from grabbing it from the pouch, letting you move faster in the field, as well as when I inevitably leave my CPL on one of my lenses and I'm like, which lens did I leave it on? I can immediately open the camera bag, see the color coding. It doesn't blend in at the end of the lens. So again, to me, you pair magnetic filters with color coding and just, it's an amazing combination. It makes me a faster, more efficient photographer in the field. And what does that mean? It lets me be more creative. Lets me try more things when I'm out there. I'm a lazy photographer. With the screw-on filter, sometimes like, I don't feel like unscrewing that filter and switching it. And I know, first world problem, but that's sometimes what happens. With magnetic, it's just so easy. Well, let me try it. Even saw up here in my demonstration. I didn't think I'd need an ND filter out here today. But I tossed one on and I see some potential with the water swirl because I went to an ND filter. If I had a threaded filter, I probably wouldn't have taken the time to thread that on with the magnetic, and it's super easy. So again, that's where my magnetic coupled with color coding makes things more efficient in the field, which allows me to be more creative. Big stuff. The last little feature I think the Kase Revolution's brought to the game that I think is really cool is that inlaid adapter ring. Like I said, it fits in there right there, just like that. Super cool, really like it. And it does reduce the vignetting somewhat. But let's dive into this. We're gonna take it real quick here. And my most frequently asked question, if I stack 2 filters, is there vignetting? And from my experience, yes, there is some vignetting when you stack 2 filters that's difficult to get rid of. Now, I use a 14 to 30 and 82 millimeter. And I can stack a CPL, no problem. No problem with vignetting. It looks great. No problems. If I put an ND filter on and shoot at my widest, shoot at 14 millimeters, I get some vignetting in the corners, which would potentially be problematic to remove in Lightroom or Photoshop or something like that. If I zoom into 15 millimeters, I lose that vignetting and I'm good. So essentially, in my head, I think if I'm stacking filters, I probably lose that 14 millimeter focal length, and that's it. I'm gonna do a really fast demo here. Nothing super fancy, just to sort of show you all my tests. When I really tested, I did it against a white wall where vignetting is super obvious. When you get out in the outdoors, it's not always quite as obvious. So let's just do a real quick test. I'm gonna do a photo without a filter, with a CPL, with an ND filter, and show you the vignetting in the stills. So hold on to that. Okay, let's do that real quick test of the vignetting. This isn't a portfolio winning shot. I'm out here with my buddy John Robertson Photography. He has a YouTube channel as well. I'll link to it down below in the description. So not portfolio here. We're just trying to stay out of each other's way as he works on a video about composition, I believe. So if you want to learn more about composition, do check out his channel. He'll have a video from here as well talking more about composition. Anyways, first shot, no filter. This is my 14 to 30, 82 millimeter, has the inlaid adapter ring in it. I would expect 0 vignetting on this. We'll toss on a CPL, my most used filter. Go ahead and tweak it. There we go. Slow my shutter speed down because that did impact my shutter speed. Take this shot. This is just one filter on the lens. I don't think I'm going to be able to see anything from the back. Yeah, there are no signs of vignetting with one filter, which matches my test that I did against a white wall, no problems. We're going to take an ND8 filter, so a 3-stop ND, toss it on. I am now stacking on my widest lens, 14 millimeter, 82 millimeter filter thread with 82 millimeter filters. I've got the inlaid adapter ring, the CPL, and I've just stacked one. Now I have to slow my shutter down. Now, even on the back of the camera, I can see a little bit of vignetting. I am shooting this at 14 millimeters, the spot. And in the very upper corners there, I get a little bit of vignetting. If you were the Photoshop type, you could probably do some regenerative fill to fix it. I'm a lazy photographer. I don't like to work that hard. So I'm going to check the playback. And yeah, there is definitely vignetting here. So all those people that have been asking, do you still get vignetting at the widest focal length when stacked? Yes. But I'm going to bump it out to 15 millimeters. I'm going to take this shot one more time. This is the 4th shot. And what I did, I changed from 14 millimeters to 15 millimeters. All vignetting goes away. So for me, I would rather have a smaller, lighter filter set, lose that 1 millimeter focal length on my widest lens. I don't shoot 14 that often, and it's only a problem if you stack 2 filters, which doesn't happen all that often for me. I do it sometimes. Let me restate. I don't shoot at 14 millimeters with stacked filters that often. I stack filters, but not 14 millimeters very often. So it's not a big problem to me, but if you're super concerned, here's how you fix it. You buy the filter size up, and then you would use a step-up ring on this, and now it's shooting through a bigger window to be able to shoot through. So if vignetting concerns you, that doesn't mean you can't stack filters on your wide-angle lens. It means you need to go a filter size up. I think that's a 95 millimeter for Kase. Use a step-up ring from 82 millimeters to 95, and use those 95 millimeter filters across the range. That's how you would solve that if that's a big problem to you. Like I said, not a big deal to me. I don't mind losing that 1 millimeter, but to answer those people's questions, stacked filters at the widest point on a 14 millimeter, my Nikon 14 to 30, I do get a hint of vignetting. Zoom in to about 15 millimeters, I'm all set. Nice clean image, no problems. So that's it. Let's see. I've been trying to think of the cons of the filters. They've solved so much of the stuff. The color coding was huge to me. I was already a fan of magnetic, didn't have a problem with that. Magnetism seems strong. I mean, over time, I guess it could fade. You know, that's a possibility with magnets. But for now, 6 months in, no problems at all. So I have 0 concerns about how magnetic the filters are. I don't have a problem with them falling off. You know, stacked, yeah, I mean, it still stays on there pretty good. Like, even to take that filter off, I have to sort of hold on to the first one to pull it off. So, like I said, I really don't have a problem with that. I just don't have a problem with the filters. I only have good things to say about them. I've been using these Kase Revolution for a little over 6 months in all sorts of scenarios. You know, waterfalls, hot. Really haven't had super cold conditions yet, but not anticipating any problems with there. But yeah, great set of filters. If you're in the market for magnetic filters, I think they're a great tool for a landscape photographer. I think the Kase Revolutions are the ones to go with, largely because they're magnetic and color coding. The color coding is just really big to me. If I was buying new today, Kase Revolution is what I would get. So hopefully this helps. If you have questions about the filters, just drop a comment down in the discussion below. I'm happy to pop in, answer them. You know, if you're trying to debate between just going to magnetic in general, debating do you make the move from Wolverine to Revolution, you know, what should you choose? Happy to help out. Drop questions down below. And also, let me know what kind of filters you're using. Are you still using threaded filters? Do magnetic filters intrigue you? Let's talk about it down in the comments below. Hit me up down there. Otherwise, if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see future landscape photography content from me, including tips, tricks, behind the scenes, minute gear reviews, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And thank you for watching.